Gordon has started to look like the D. Gordon of last year. Gordon to right. It's deep. And it's gone! D. Gordon has hit it out. And the Marlins have a 1-0 lead.
Alright, sometimes there is crying in baseball. On Monday night, after an emotional ceremony to honor Jose Fernandez, who tragically passed away early Sunday morning in a boating accident, D. Gordon honored the late pitcher by wearing his batting helmet for the first pitch. And after he swapped it out, he went deep for the first time this season, and only for the 9th time in his 6-year career. After the game, Gordon was quoted saying that someone else was swinging the bat for him. It is an absolute tragedy that such a promising young athlete was taken way before his time. The Marlins have retired his number 16, and he will definitely be missed around the league. Now, staying on the topic of baseball, I'm going to move on to the Blue Jays. Right now, Jays fans, I'm sorry to say this is a position we do not want to be in. If the Jays lose just one game to the Boston Red Sox this week, the rest of this season is practically out of their control. If the Tigers can produce a very manageable sweep of the Atlanta Braves, the Orioles win 2 against the Yankees, and the Jays lose the series against Boston, we will completely miss the playoffs. And if the Red Sox manage to sweep the Jays, that's probably going to be a wrap on the season. And if you've been paying as close attention as I have, you should be very worried. A team that has been boasting one of the best offensive lineups this season cannot seem to score runs. It is becoming a far too frequent trend for the Jays to leave runners in scoring position, and not to mention Toronto is on a 16-game losing streak when the offense doesn't hit the ball out of the park. Add in that the back of the bullpen looks absolutely exhausted, with the likes of Jason Grilli and Roberto Osuna looking like mere shadows of themselves from earlier on in the season. Plus, Osuna recording 2 blown saves in the last week alone. Drop in the little nugget that the Blue Jays lost their 7th inning man, Joaquin Benoit, after a stupid fight between the Jays and the Yankees after the 2 teams traded beanballs. This bullpen looks even more depleted than it did to start the season. For the Jays to be successful in Boston this week, they are going to need some serious run support so that the starters can pitch to contact, keeping their pitch count low so we are able to go deep in games and let our bullpen get some well-needed rest. Moving on to the NFL. Now, so far this season, there have been dozens of thrilling stories, both of tragedy and success, depending on who you cheer for. Fans in Philadelphia are elated by the addition of Carson Wentz, while fans in Cleveland wonder when the revolving door of quarterbacks will finally come to an end. Meanwhile, fans in Chicago are ready to call it a season, and on the other end of that spectrum, the Minnesota Vikings keep defying the odds and winning games, despite losing both starting QB Teddy Bridgewater to start the season and then all-star running back Adrian Peterson in week 2. Now, my guaranteed teams to win this week are Detroit defeating Chicago by 2.5, and the Broncos taking down Tampa Bay and easily covering the 3-point spread. Trevor Siemian is taking to the role of starting QB without a flaw, and Denver's defense is going to absolutely rock Jameis Winston, who has been shaky all season. Those are 2 matchups to definitely exploit, and if you need one more to round off your pro line, I recommend taking the Washington Redskins to cover the generous spread of 7.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Now, speaking of Washington, if Jamison Crowder is available in your fantasy league, pick him up! He's tied with Jordan Reed with 16 receptions this season and is leading all receivers on the Redskins with 2 touchdowns this season. It is becoming abundantly clear that he is quickly becoming the preferred second look for Kirk Cousins in the red zone, and he is making the most of it. Now, I know sometimes when you're watching a game, it can get pretty frustrating watching your favorite player strike out or drop a ball he just should have had, and sometimes in golf, you can even let your mouth start yapping at a guy when he definitely should have sank that putt. But what happens when the athletes let you come out and back up your words? Let's find out in the Just the Worst Play of the Week.
Where's DJ's butter? Oh, I got that. Home soil, right? Not the
Ryder Cup practice round this week, professional golfer and Olympic silver medalist Heinrich Stenson had heard enough from one fan who thought he could put a better stroke on the ball. So, he invited him to literally take a swing at it. And Justin Rose sweetened the deal by putting $100 on the line. To the demise of the golfers and the success of the heckler, he sunk the ball in the hole with authority, winning one for hecklers everywhere and putting doubt in the mind of any athlete willing to challenge the average Joe to do his job better. Anyway, sports fans, that will do it for me this week. Be sure to subscribe and stay tuned. Thanks for watching. We just crossed the coal line.